We're together to tell you we are here and bring you strength and love and joy and also like some food.
So part of it is like I too am getting a lot of questions about like what can I do, how can I avoid getting sick, and with everyone in shelter in place or isolation, social distancing, all the new buzzwords, right? People are going, well, how can I get out and exercise because that helps burn off my stress and I'm highly stressed. But it's not just about the exercise and how you're working with your body to mitigate that stress. We also know that your immune system is very cyclical, just like your menstrual cycle. So we know that in the low hormone state, your immune response is one that really fights off the virus and bacteria invaders. But with the rise in estrogen around ovulation, it suppresses that because from a physiological standpoint, you don't want your immune system attacking a fertilized egg. So your immune system has a little bit of a drop for about the 24 hours around ovulation so that the body may or may not be successful in fertilizing the egg. And then after that, when estrogen and progesterone start to rise, there's another switch in your immune response, and there's an uprise in cytokines and natural killer cells that will inhibit the body from attacking the fertilized egg, but instead will work to like kill off things like parasites and worms that come in, induces fever that kills off smaller parasitic type responses. So it's a completely different response. So when we look at it from how are we going to stay healthy in this COVID-19 situation, it's if you are in your low hormones phase, you're a little bit more protected because your body's already primed to fight off virus and bacteria. So from a standpoint of exercise, you can afford to go a little bit harder because we know that exercise does have an acute boost in your immune system, but you have to be careful on what kind of stuff that you're doing. And then when you get into the high hormone phase, after estrogen, progesterone start to rise, you're not as able to fight off virus and bacteria. You have a little bit of an immunosuppressant response from progesterone and estrogen. So this is where you want to be a little bit careful. So not looking to do high intensity work, not looking to do any kind of exercise in a low sleep, high stress state, because you're going to compromise your immune system even more and be more susceptible to being sick. So we also know that this isn't a time to be looking to hit a peak VO2. We're not looking to increase our 5K time. We're looking at how are we going to mitigate stress, because stress is the basis for immunosuppressing. So if we can mitigate stress through exercise and good sleep and good nutrition, then we make our bodies more immune to what's going on around us. And then when we come out of this, because we know we will, that's a short blip in the whole time period, but it is historical. When we get out on the other side, our bodies are healthy and we can start to resume our exercise and our training plans. And Bevan's the expert for talking how to go from hit to sit.
Well, I know that a lot of my athletes and athletes around the world are going to be starting to feel a little bit anxious about what the future holds for them in terms of their racing and so forth. And I know that a lot of athletes will also be driven indoors for a lot of the exercise that they do at the moment. So I'm making all the people that I work with really aware of mitigating against the extra anxieties that they might be feeling at the moment. So we're a big proponent of mindfulness training, of any stress relief training, of keeping your mood and your mind in a really healthy place. So we really endorse that. I also think that, you know, if we are doing more indoor training now, looking at keeping your vitamin D really high, and, you know, vitamin D is plays an important role in keeping that immune system and defending the body from foreign invaders and organisms. So we want to make sure we're on top of the vitamin D supplementation as well. If you are driven indoors for a long period of time and you want to spice things up a little bit, you know, there's a lot of high intensity interval trainings options out there for you. But if you're out there and you're doing or indoors and doing some bike sessions, you may want to consider, switching things up a little bit. And one of the sessions that I actually get a lot of my athletes to do is something that we call micro intervals. And if you really want to sharpen your performance through the early phases of your menstrual cycle, when your body's nice and strong, there's a growing body of research that shows you should definitely make room for some super sort of high intensity short intervals, something like 30 seconds really hard, 15 seconds recovery, and a block of those particular intervals, maybe 7 to 9 minutes of total work. You might do 1 or 2 sets of them, but it could change your way that you're doing your high intensity interval, give you a little bit more variety in your work. And it's about keeping things fresh, keeping things interesting, not putting too much pressure on yourself to move fitness forward, but just being patient with yourself and making sure you treat yourself well through this period, especially if you're forced indoors for a lot of your training.
A lot of athletes, they combine sports and sanity, and we really need that. What happens since like a week, and why are we transitioning into serving that better?
What's been really nice is how many people have reached out and kind of showing their support, and also just checking in to see how we're doing, because we're in close contact with many of the early beta testers. We're still in beta, and they've been really warm, and it's been nice to stay in touch with people. Everybody is, of course, dealing with anxiety. People talk about loss of sleep. And seeing their inability to train in the way that they usually have been is affecting that. We're looking to integrate a lot of the insights that Stacey and Bevan were just describing into the app, and to include new training plans that women can do indoors. If they're able to get outdoors once in a while too, that's also good. And stay healthy, but also then giving them the recommendations that they need to keep their immune system in a good state throughout their cycle, and not hit a low spot, and have alerting them of when they're more when their immune system is more compromised at different times in the cycle, or if they trained especially hard in a time of the cycle when maybe they should just be more careful. So things like that, I think we can help people right away, and that's what we're looking to build into the app.
This is not a period we will be focusing on hitting peak VO2, but really the focus is on mitigating stress, but remaining active. It is very interlinked with our sanity. So today what we are doing is we can still go out in the streets. It is going to be limited, but you can go out by yourself. So do trainings outdoors. Indoors, it's about understanding where you are in your menstrual cycle, and either you can push because you are at the right time, or you do a different type of training. And that's how we can help as well.